So, up until now, things have been going pretty mild. I did some skydiving, I went to Europe, got stuck in a cave, ate blood sausage, had a bit of an emotional breakdown at the concentration camp, came back to America and realized that the life I had built was just not for me. But now we've come to a point in the story where things are really about to kick off, okay? Because now I have quit my job, I have sold everything I own, I have said goodbye to everyone and everything I've ever known, and I've acquired a one-way ticket out of the country with no more plan than to meet my Buddhist monk friend in Sri Lanka and then go from there. It is my hope that you will view these videos and that you will gain something. Perhaps you will gain knowledge or something you didn't know before. Or maybe you will gain a piece of inspiration that you can then use in your own life. Or maybe you will simply gain some laughter, which is its own benefit. So with all of this in mind, subscribe to the channel, give a like to the videos, and leave a comment or a question. Is there anything I can do to make the story come alive for you more? Because I want for you to really feel like you are there, okay? So, you subscribe to the channel, and I will continue making videos. Deal? Yes. So, I've boarded the plane, and I am en route to Sri Lanka. So, here we are, and here's Sri Lanka way over here off the southern tip of India, about a half inch from the equator. Upon arrival, I first noticed how lush everything is. I mean, it is the most beautiful, dark, luscious green. Everywhere you look, something is growing. Really, it reminded me of the opening scenes in Jurassic Park. I mean, it is seriously beautiful. There's gigantic ferns everywhere, colossal green leaves, palm trees everywhere you look. I mean, it is seriously beautiful. And there's wild elephants. Yeah, for real. They're just out there in the wild, roaming around. No joke. And then there's all kinds of reptiles everywhere. We were driving along and we had to stop because this gigantic lizard crossed the road. How about this one? Can you see it? They're very well camouflaged. And the waterfalls. Everywhere there are these beautiful waterfalls carving their way through the rock. Some of them are like a private oasis or paradise of sorts. And, no doubt, a refreshing and welcomed relief from the heat. Now, keep in mind as you're watching this, and in fact as you're watching all the videos in my series on my time in Sri Lanka, that the humidity and the heat, but mostly the humidity, is at a level that would be comical if it wasn't so oppressive and thick. It's unbelievable. Now, of course, it is something that you can acclimate to, but at first, whoa, be prepared. It is the very first thing you will notice. I mean, the first step off the plane. Well, no, even sooner. The moment they open the hatch, the humidity is gonna flood in and there will be a blanket. Yeah, so I'm coming to you live here from Sri Lanka. Oh my God, where it is really, really hot. I mean, it is really hot. And the vegetation is, somewhat aggressive. Boy. So every breath I take actually is, I really have to pull the air in. It's like each breath is hotter. What I'm breathing in is hotter than the air I'm breathing out. Yeah, so it's gonna take some getting used to here. But the vegetation seems a little bit aggressive. Oh, boy, it is just really, really something to behold. Yeah, so it's gonna take some getting used to here. So, signing out from Sri Lanka. These vines, oh my God. But you know, it's only upon feeling the climate and experiencing the landscape that I begin to see just how beautiful the monks are. You see, before this, I only really knew the handful of Buddhist monks that I had met from the temple in my hometown in Indiana. And here, they were always in these sort of urban neighborhoods with our typical Midwestern housing and culture. And so they always tend to look a bit out of place. They just do. But here, in their element, it all suddenly makes sense. What was before this sort of hunter orange, very much out of place kind of thing, now suddenly became this beautiful sort of heavenly orange that was a divine complement to the lush, dark green of the jungle. And it was all held together beautifully by their soft brown skin. It caught me off guard, really, to see just how beautiful the monks are in their element. The temple grounds are extremely well kept. The architecture is very functional as well as beautiful. Clean, straight lines, walls made of a sort of concrete and plaster mixture, almost always with marble floors and lots of open space. This temple was founded in the 1400s. Here's the room I stayed in. My sweatbox, I called it. So I arrived precisely at the beginning of a giant 10-day celebration. Each day has its own particular type of festivities and celebrations and parades. So you'll see in this picture, I'm standing at the entrance of the temple looking out that way. And in this picture, I am standing out there with the temple entrance to my back, just to give you some scope. And people are lined up, ready for the procession. The first in the procession is these guys here with these insanely long whips. And they're cracking them back and forth. And it's literally as loud as gunshots. I guess partly for effect, but mostly to make sure that the road is clear. Then come the drummers. Legions of drummers. Look, this guy at the front, he's my favorite. He's really feeling the traditional dance steps. And here, these guys in the green do a very unique type of dance. You see, each one of them is holding this flexible piece of bamboo, and then the guy in the middle is holding on to all of them simultaneously. And on command, they all start running and dipping and dodging and weaving in some complex pattern. And the guy in the middle in the red is just flopping around in some maniacal looking pattern, I guess. But it works because they don't get tangled up once. But you know, at the time, I didn't know any of this. I mean, I didn't know what was going on. Seriously, all I knew was that there were people everywhere. People everywhere, packed. And that there were seriously platoons of these children drummers. I mean, like legions of drummers, only separated by these massive elephants, just right behind the kids. Seriously, dozens of elephants, the size of bulldozers. And these guys did this well into the night. Then at maybe 11 or 12 at night, when all the dancing and drumming was done, third shift would come in and take over, and there would be all night chantings and ceremonies, and it was around the clock. And this is what I arrived into, just all of this. Just get a feel for it. And you know, the children were really fascinated by me, and I equally by them. Like this beautiful little girl. She kept following me around this one night, and she just wanted to continuously shake my hand and give me this pretty smile. And these boys were full of it. They just kept following me around, constantly, everywhere I went. Every evening, there would be like this entourage of kids following me around. It was great, man. Even though we didn't speak the same language, we could laugh. We spoke the universal language of laughter. So, I have arrived in Sri Lanka. I have hit the ground running. Full on celebration, people, noise, animals, heat, music, drums, drums, drums. The smell of diesel, the smell of wood burning, the smell of spices, the smell of incense, oh my goodness, everything all at once, straight off the plane. My wish for new experiences had been immediately answered, to an extraordinary degree. So join me next time as we dive into the topic of culture shock.